I'm standing in front of Trump Tower, where some of the world's greediest, most morally corrupt billionaire fat cats gather to plan their subjugation of the American working class. And some, I assume, are decent people. But I can't think of a better place to announce that I'm going to be making my videos great again, because this is why Donald Trump will never be president. Howdy gang, there are several reasons why I decided to make a video series about every single one of the 22 major party presidential candidates of this cycle. Now, loneliness and an obsession with blue rectangles were chief among them, but another reason is that I felt the opportunity was being wasted by everyone else. This is truly a unique campaign cycle in which there are so many candidates seeking political oxygen, but that narrative has been overshadowed by one candidate who eats oxygen for breakfast.
Our politics lead every day for the last few months. I've been asked, on camera and off camera, if I think Donald Trump will really win the Republican presidential nomination. Every day I've had the same answer. I've seen no evidence to the contrary, and today, more evidence to the affirmative. Trump ending 2015 in prime position to win the Republican nomination next year.
I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Donald Trump has received wall-to-wall media coverage of his campaign from the very beginning, and the same has been true of comedians. Literally millions of jokes have been made about Donald Trump in the last year, so maybe the comedic well has dried.
Are you ready to make America great again?
Never mind. Sarah Palin endorsing Donald Trump is just one of the most recent incredible, literally not credible, successes the campaign has had. It represents the campaign coming full circle. After all, Donald Trump is only the most incoherent and polarizing figure the Republicans have introduced since Sarah Palin.
Looking around at all of you, you hard-working Iowa families, you farm families, and teachers and teamsters and cops and cooks, you rock and rollers and holy rollers, you full-time moms, you with the hands that rock the cradle.
Are you literally just going to list every occupation that Iowans have ever had? Oh, you Iowan gravediggers and undertakers, you hard-working hitmen and prostitutes. You know, I could make a whole video just responding to this speech, but I can't watch more than 30 seconds of it at a time without feeling myself becoming stupider. Like right now, Punnett Squares, gone. So instead, let's take a look at some of Trump's greatest hits. Let's begin with his debut single, Inflammatory Mexican Remarks.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
You know what? You love it. It's what got Trump on the national scene. But for every Trump action, there's an equal and opposite Trump reaction. Here's how Donald Trump explained the unexplainable.
Somebody's doing the raping, Don. I mean, you know, somebody's doing the, just saying it's women being raped. Well, who's doing the raping? Who's doing the raping?
Yeah.
Astute analysis, Donald. Yes, somebody's doing the raping. President Trump, there's just been an attack on U.S. soil. What's your reaction? Well, I can tell you this right now. Somebody's doing the terrorism, and I intend to find out who, by just guessing it was the Mexicans and then moving on. Since this speech, the media has declared Donald Trump a fringe candidate with no chance of the nomination, but within a few weeks of it, he surged to #1 in the polls and has remained there to this day, 1 week away from the Iowa caucuses. In that time, Donald Trump has said many statements that would have spelled doom for literally any other campaign, but only seem to have helped him.
You know, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes. Blood coming out of her, wherever.
He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability. Take a look.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Can you imagine if Barack Obama had said even half of one of these statements? He wouldn't even be able to be the president of his local Hawaiian Rotary Club. Things would be so bad for him. And yet Donald Trump has managed to survive. Perhaps the most terrifying Trump statement, though, was his reaction to the Paris attacks.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
So Trump is Hitler. I know that's normally like a horribly inflammatory and just irresponsible thing to say, but holy shit, guys, he's fucking Hitler. He wants a full and complete ban of the entrance of a religion representing 1.6 billion people on Earth. Now, I'm being very extreme. Let's give Trump a chance to respond to claims like mine that he is Hitler.
You're increasingly being compared to Hitler. Does that give you any pause at all?
No, because what I'm doing is no different than what FDR.
No, he doesn't mind. Comparison to Hitler, no big deal. In fact, he doubled down on this idea in his very first campaign ad.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism. That's why he's calling for a temporary shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until we can figure out what's going on.
Jesus Christ. Or, as Donald Trump would say, that dude with the beard from 2 Corinthians. It seems like there's nothing that Donald Trump can do to lose support. It's like he could, I don't know. What's something dangerously hyperbolic I could say to describe how loyal his supporters are?
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
Couldn't have put it any better myself. Now, I spent this whole video talking about how no matter what deplorable thing Donald Trump says, and despite the fact that the entire political class is running against him, he continues to dominate in the polls. But this video is called Why Donald Trump Will Never Be President, so what gives? Well, first of all of this only really applies to the primary. They're only good signs for the primary. We don't really know what's going to happen in the general election right now. And even if the polls were saying that Donald Trump would beat Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders or Milton O'Bradley, and thank God they're not, but even if they were, it's been said before, but it's a good analogy, so I'll plagiarize it. Donald Trump is an internet commenter personified. Like the people who will be commenting on this video, Donald Trump has an open platform to say whatever insulting, insane, insidious comments he wants, and he has no accountability. The American people are so tired of hearing fake apologies from celebrities that it almost seems like a breath of fresh air to get no apology at all. But while that might work for 30, even 40% of the Republican electorate, I do have faith, however misguided, that ultimately the country as a whole will reject Donald Trump and stand with our Muslim, Hispanic, veteran, and disabled brothers and sisters. By the way, when I say that, I mean all those groups separately, not some mega minority that has all 4 of those characteristics. Although if you're out there, Godspeed. I made a video about every single presidential candidate this cycle, saying they'll never be president. Now that means that I'm going to be wrong about somebody. And when I am, it will be because I underestimated them. But I don't think I'm underestimating Donald Trump. He's a very skilled man, and he's made it a lot further than anyone ever expected him to. But I also don't think I'm overestimating the American people when I say that we are not going to elect a man whose entire platform is based on insulting people, making up excuses, and talking about how great he is. Now, that was a lot of big words. Certainly a lot more convoluted than Donald Trump's typical vocabulary. But to end this video and this series, I'd like to send a message to Donald Trump that he definitely won't understand. This one goes out to all the hardworking immigrants who are neither rapists nor drug dealers.
Rastrero, escoria de la vida, adefesio mal hecho. Infrahumano, espectro del infierno, maldita sabandija, cuánto daño me has hecho. Alemania, culebra ponzoñosa, desecho de la vida. Te odio y te desprecio. Rata de 2 patas, te estoy hablando a ti. Porque un bicho rastrero, aun siendo el más maldito, comparado contigo, se queda muy chiquito. Y eso es porque Donald Trump nunca va a ser el presidente.
I'm running for president.
First of all, way to make everyone else look bad. I'm starting a small business. I'm having a baby. Oh yeah? Well, I'm running for president, motherfuckers. Top that.